Welcome back to Chow Time Pods. Your host, Red. I got a video today from acenate.
There's a pattern I keep seeing with a lot of women today, especially the younger ones who already have a divorce under their belt. The marriage didn't
Which is crazy that there's like 22, 23-year-olds with divorces under their belts already.
make them happy. And, not necessarily because the husband failed, but because nothing ever seems to be enough for them. And then when they get back out there, even genuinely good men still don't feel right. There's always some vague feeling they're chasing that never actually shows up. And for some, even the divorce itself, right? The big reset they've built up in their minds falls flat. And if you look into the paradox of female happiness, you'll see that since the 70s, their self-reported happiness has fallen off a cliff. In fact, we're now living in a time where men's reported happiness is actually higher than women's. And before the 1970s, that was not the case. So it seems that the more we've progressed as a society, female contentment has regressed.
I said I wouldn't talk about my dating life on here, but I feel like I cannot be the only one who feels alone in this. Just went on a first date, and this is no offense to this man, obviously. Perfectly fine, normal, lovely date. It's getting to the point, though, that that's the problem. Like, there's just nothing happening. And I just feel no sparks and no chemistry with people, and I feel bad.
I'm sorry the man didn't slay a dragon to try to get to you, Like, what do they want? They want this extravagant, noble sacrifice to be able to just even see them or get to know them before we even love them or we've been together for a certain amount of time. No, you just want it off the rip, like the dwarves just going into the mountain and fighting freaking the dragon or whatever, the beast, to try to save Snow White. Or like, what the hell are you talking about, ladies?
Because I feel like it's just me. I'm going out with really handsome, accomplished, interesting people, and I feel nothing. I feel like I'm just another girl, like I'm one of a million, and there's just nothing special about me. Probably not presenting that great either, not like that sparkly or interesting or like dynamic at all, because I'm just so depleted. I know my person's out there, but starting to really question if I even have it in me to find them anymore. I listened to Maisie Neely's book today, and through all of the hardships she had, she just kept going and kept dating and kept seeing people, and I admire people so much that have that in them, because I just don't have it in me. I thought I was safe, and I thought I was...
You're just a quitter and a failure. Stop it.
Done. And like having to do this again, it just feels like work every time I go on a date. It feels like so hard.
So this woman has in fact been divorced. I've seen her TikToks before. She's quite open about it, shocker. And this story here just corroborates that she has a hard time feeling content. Right? Feeling pleased, feeling happy. And specifically as it pertains to men, always feels like something's missing. Oh, it's not enough. Where are the sparks? Where's the connection? Where are the butterflies that I felt for my crush, my first crush when I was 14? So apparently these guys can be handsome, great prospects, well accomplished, normal, not weird. And yet, for this woman who has to put on a lot of makeup just to be willing to appear in public, these guys still aren't good enough. And you'll notice listening to her and so many of these other women that I've mentioned in the past, that when a woman is like stressed, when she's just feeling like she's had enough, she makes it very known.
Yes.
So she huffs and puffs, and anyone in her radius gets to experience her stress as well. And they just all seem to be so damn tired. They're all so tired.
Exhausted.
And, I believe that's a response to stress and pressure. And I think it's why we see a decline in their self-reported happiness since the 70s.
If women lived such a very mundane, easy life before, and now they have to think about all the troubles of the world and defending themselves and making money and retiring and stuff. Yeah, that's a lot of extra stress women didn't have to deal with before. So I can see them not being happy about it.
Just not great at handling all of this pressure that comes with modernity. At one point I worked with nurses, and the majority of my encounters with the female nurses were awful. I had no issues with the men, but the women made it a point to, again, huff and puff, throw around attitude, and radiate stress and passive aggression. They wanted everyone to know just how overwhelmed they were. And what stood out to me was the clear difference in how the men handled, those same duties and pressures. They were calm, steady, polite, compared to the emotional chaos that the women brought with them. And, women are also self-sabotaging, right? Pushing for divorce at insane rates, thinking the grass is greener. And
self-sabotaging and sabotaging each other, Nate, right? Because it's not just her sabotaging herself. It's all of her single friends and all the people around her telling her to be single also.
Insisting on being Miss Independent and then acting shocked, right? When the pressure breaks them, especially if they're mothers. One thing I believe women consistently take for granted is kind of the stabilizing force that men bring. I mean, as long as he's not, some male feminist type. But there's just something naturally grounding about masculine presence. But because that positive aspect of men is never highlighted, instead they're told men are bad, women don't appreciate it. And so they don't recognize it until it's gone. And they also forget it's crucial for children too. And so I say all that because this woman here she seems like she's breaking.
Yeah.
Like she's spiraling.
Nate, that's so many women that we're covering nowadays. There's a lot of videos of you see women spiraling out of control in their mid-30s after divorces, after, losing most of their eggs. They're just freaking out.
And I know she's divorced. Again, seen her TikToks before. I know she doesn't have a stable man in her life. And to me, she's breaking down on camera. That's not normal behavior.
It is.
And for a lot of these women, I mean, we've seen a lot of them do it. And I just think, looking at that study or survey or whatever, talking about the paradox of female happiness, I listen to her and I hear her and it makes sense. It does. And I think about all the new stress and the new pressure these women are facing. It all kind of adds up. And then you start adding up, or you start including how so many of these women, they break off from any man they potentially have. Not all of them, but a lot of them are the ones initiating these divorces. There's a lot of feminist propaganda being preached to them, talking about how men are bad. And as I mentioned, there's never talk about the positive aspects of men. Like, yes,
never, right, Nate? That's what I'm talking about, the same thing. You never hear, men help plan things. They help, make women's lives easier. They do so many things for women. They take care of women. We never hear any of the good ever from any type of media source other than from ourselves, from our own niche here in the red pill / manosphere. Is, men do great things. We sacrifice ourselves greatly for the good of the betterment of society and women. But no, women is just bad, men bad.
Stabilizing force in your life. And they're not told to even recognize that. And so I think they don't recognize it ever, perhaps until it's gone. And, they start to break like her.
I just signed the final decree for my divorce, and after a year and a half of this shit and tens of thousands of dollars later, that had to be the most anticlimactic shit I could have ever expected. It truly comes down to you, a Bic pen, the notary, and some paperwork stapled together. All the fanfare, all the excitement, all of the planning for weddings. It's so easy and fun to get married. It's hard and long and expensive to get divorced. And then apparently it's also boring at the end too. Don't get me wrong, there's been plenty of drama throughout
You're expecting fireworks at your divorce?
The entire experience. But the moment I've been waiting for, the moment so many people in my life have been waiting for, and it's just the flattest feeling ever. I'm not sad. I'm not mad. I'm just what the fuck?
So you got married just to get divorced because everybody wants it?
It's just another fucking Monday afternoon, I guess.
Well, I mean, what did she expect? Balloons dropping from the
Yeah.
ceiling, confetti, everybody
Confetti?
jumping around, cheering you on. You entered a marriage and it didn't work. It ended. That's a failure. There is no feminist spin that magically turns this into an achievement. At one point, you had a wedding, you said your vows, celebrated the love you claimed to have for each other, and now here you are. This isn't something to be proud of. And yet, right, I've seen plenty of women act like divorce is something to celebrate.
I've graduated.
You know, they'll post photos, raise a glass to freedom, frame it like it's some empowering milestone. And for a lot of them, strangely, it's treated like it's like a rite of passage. Like you're not truly a part of the sisterhood.
No, he's right. I said that. Like that is it's expected after a marriage is, oh, you're gonna have to get a divorce, and it's, you know, your first marriage is just a practice marriage
Until you've got that first divorce under your belt. It is bizarre, but you know that's the culture. And honestly, I could tell she fit that mold and belonged in the sisterhood, the modern sisterhood, if you will, the moment she started dropping F-bombs every other sentence. And it's not a compliment
It really
to be
is
a part of that group.
I'm also a potty mouth myself, so
At all. And, you know, the thing is, all that celebration, it's performative. Once the cameras shut off, you know, and the
Tears.
likes taper off from the Instagram post, and the group chat goes quiet, she's left facing the reality of what she did. Just like this girl sitting in that kind of flat, anticlimactic kind of emotion. And sooner or later, she'll probably reach the conclusion she should have never left in the first place.
it's true. We see so many videos now of women regretting their divorce. They said, why did I even leave in the first place? I was unhappy, but not that unhappy. Or I was unhappy because I thought I could do better, and you ended up not being able to. Most people usually can't do better than who they marry and who they have kids with, majority of the time, especially women. For men, we can upgrade, downgrade, depending on, you know, how much money we make and how well we take care of ourselves as we age, right? For women, they're a little bit more limited on those things. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that, and I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.